An entire people, men, women, and children, were hours away from annihilation. Their only hope was one woman, alone, uninvited, and one wrong step away from death. What do you do when God places you at the intersection of purpose and impossible risk? Esther's answer has echoed across 25 centuries, and it still speaks directly to yours. The year is approximately 483 BC. The Persian Empire under King Ahasuerus, known to history as Xerxes the Great, stretched from India to Ethiopia, spanning 127 provinces. Within this vast empire, the Jewish people lived as exiles, descendants of those carried from Jerusalem generations before. They had no homeland, no king, and no political power of their own. Into this world, an orphaned Jewish girl named Hadassah, called Esther, was being raised by her older cousin Mordecai. She had no title, no inheritance, and no visible platform. Only a quiet faithfulness. After Queen Vashti was removed, a kingdom-wide search for a new queen brought Esther to the palace of Susa. Scripture tells us she found favor with everyone she encountered, not through self-promotion, but through a grace that was clearly not her own. Then a man named Haman entered the story. Appointed to the highest office in Persia by King Xerxes, he commanded that every person bow before him. Mordecai refused, and Haman's wounded pride became genocidal rage. Haman persuaded King Xerxes to sign an irreversible edict, a death warrant for every Jewish man, woman, and child across the entire empire. The date was cast by lot. The clock was already ticking. When the edict reached the city, Mordecai tore his garments, put on sackcloth, and wept loudly at the city gate. Across every province, the Jewish people mourned with fasting, weeping, and lament. Mordecai sent an urgent message to Esther inside the palace walls. You must go to the king. You must beg for mercy. You must intercede for your people. Esther's reply was honest. Anyone who approached the king without being summoned faced immediate death, even the queen. And the king had not called for her in 30 days. Mordecai's reply cut through her fear with the precision that only the Spirit produces. Read these words slowly. They are not merely encouragement, they are a declaration of divine sovereign purpose. Notice what Mordecai does not say. He does not say God will save the people through you. He says, relief will come from another place if you remain silent. Your participation is invited, not guaranteed. Esther's response is one of the most courageous sentences in all of Scripture. She does not minimize the danger. She names it and steps forward anyway. Before she took a single step toward the throne, Esther fasted for 3 days. She summoned her community to fast with her. This was not delay, this was preparation. Action rooted in prayer, not panic. On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes. Every detail of that morning was an act of faith, the preparation of someone who has already surrendered the outcome to God. She stood at the entrance of the inner court. Every step she had taken from orphan to queen had been leading to this doorway. She crossed it. The king saw her standing in the court. He held out his golden scepter, the sign of grace, not judgment. She was spared. In this single image, we see God's mercy working through the hands of a man who did not know he was being used. Esther did not rush to make her request. She invited the king and Haman to not 1 but 2 banquets, wise as a serpent, patient as a master architect. Courage and strategy are not opposites, they are partners. At the 2nd banquet, Esther revealed her identity. Then she named Haman, directly, clearly, without softening, as the man who had plotted to destroy her people. The king's wrath turned fully on Haman. He was executed on the very gallows he had constructed to hang Mordecai. The instrument of injustice became the instrument of justice. God is never mocked. Mordecai was given Haman's position and Haman's signet ring. The man who would not bow before a man now stood in a place where others bowed before him. God does not forget those who remain faithful in obscurity. A new royal decree was issued. The Jewish people were empowered to defend themselves. Throughout all 127 provinces, they survived and celebrated with great joy. The festival of Purim was born, and it is still celebrated to this day. Esther spent years in preparation she did not know was preparation. Every loss, every transition, every quiet season of faithfulness was God constructing something she could not yet see. God's name does not appear once in the entire book of Esther, yet his fingerprints are on every scene, every coincidence, every detail. His silence in your story does not mean his absence. There will come a moment, as it came for Esther, when everything you have walked through suddenly makes perfect sense. That moment will ask something of you. Our generation has its own version of Haman. It is the culture that says your worth is your output, your platform, your numbers. The voice that tells you power belongs to the loudest person in the room. Esther fasted before she acted. This is not an ancient ritual that time has made irrelevant. Spiritual preparation before high-stakes action is a timeless discipline the modern believer cannot afford to skip. Esther named the threat and then walked toward it. The first discipline of purpose-driven faith is simple. Decide to name what you are called to, not what you are afraid of. Esther did not carry the weight of her calling alone. She summoned a community to fast with her. Kingdom purpose always requires kingdom community. Who are you doing this with? Esther did not rush to the point. 2 banquets, not 1. She exercised a rare discipline, spiritual patience. God's timing is not your urgency. Surrender the schedule, trust the architect. Here is the question Esther's life places before yours. What is the moment you have been shaped for? And are you willing to step into it, even if it costs you everything? Lord, like Esther, we do not always feel ready for what you have placed before us, but we choose to trust your providence over our fear. Position us, prepare us, and give us the courage to say, if I perish, I perish. If this message strengthened your faith, subscribe to the Vaulted Spirit and turn on notifications. Every video is a stone laid in the architecture of a grounded, resilient life.
In the midst of the storm, there is a place that remains unshaken, the vaulted spirit. Build deep, look upward, abide.